Greetings and welcome to The Place to Be Oshkosh. This is our March show. Yes, I said March, and what a busy month March will be. We've been looking forward to spring, which is in March, and then St. Patty's Day is in March, and then Easter just comes in at the end of March. So we're excited for the show. I also want to say set design by Brian at UBloom. He does a wonderful job. If you've not been there to his store, you have to go there. It's right on Witzel. He has a plethora of everything, from candy to clothing to jewelry to flowers. His prices are so reasonable, and he does great work. So I thank him for this. So he's the one who reminded me of everything we're celebrating in March. So we're so happy for that. I also have to thank my sponsors who make the show possible, and that would be COTS. Originally out of Appleton, but now we're in Oshkosh, and in April we'll be celebrating 2 years with COTS in Oshkosh, COTS for Men. And then also, if you want to know what's going on in our community and see pictures all about it, go to the Oshkosh Herald and Karen. They do a great job of covering everything going on. And one thing that they've been covering is the Help for the Homeless Hygiene Drive, which was the month of February, and it's still going on. There's still time for you to participate in that drive. Go to area businesses in our community. I love this. Scott needs a raise for anybody who's hearing me. This was not planned, but I mentioned the hygiene drive. It's still going on through March 3rd. Go to area businesses, check it out. This hygiene drive will benefit residents in our community, the homeless in our community, and the agencies that are part of my committee, besides Oshkosh COTS, are Advocap, Bella Medical, Father Cars, Salvation Army. So you're doing a good thing by supporting the Help for the Homeless Hygiene Drive. Talking a little about COTS too, we're so very excited. I'll talk about summer. It's March, but I'll talk about summer. By the beginning of June, we will have added 10 more rooms for residents, which will bring Oshkosh COTS up to 30. When we opened in April of 2022, we had 9 rooms. And so I really want to thank the community for their support. Because of you and your donations and your volunteering and your time, we'll be able to serve 30 residents at Oshkosh COTS in our program. And if you're interested in more information about volunteering, because yes, we do have volunteer opportunities with us. We have one person, a friend of mine, who just comes in the summer and weeds. So if you like to weed, we put in a garden. She weeds that and the plants. We also have 2 lovely ladies, Pam and Pat, who come during the week and help us with office stuff and home decor and decorating and things like that. We also have the meal ministry. Our men all work first, second, or third shift, and so having food available for them is part of our program. And we have regular meal ministers who cook the entire meal and bring it in every Monday. Thank you, Larry and Barb. But we also could use donations if you make a lot of sloppy joes one day and want to drop it off, or you make a home-baked apple pie, or cherry pie is my favorite. You can drop that off too. All of that really helps with our program, and the residents truly appreciate it. So that's my update on COTS. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about Habitat for Humanity. Welcome back. This is our second segment of our March edition of The Place to Be Oshkosh. We are now talking, is it Liz or Elizabeth?
Either one is fine.
Okay. We're talking to Elizabeth Last from Habitat for Humanity. Do you want to talk about what your role is, and then we'll talk about Habitat does so much, and you have 2 distinct programs. So let's talk about your role.
Sure. So my role is Director of Neighborhood Revitalization. I've been with the organization for just over 5 years. I was originally brought in to coordinate our Rock the Block Neighborhood Revitalization program, which is near and dear to my heart. It's been growing and has become very successful in the Oshkosh community, and we are actually expanding to the Omro community this year. So that's very exciting, and as the program grows and the program needs are growing, so has my role. So starting out managing and coordinating that program, also rolling into family services with our home buyer program, and now shifting my attention back onto the Rock the Block program expansion.
Do you want to talk about Rock the Block?
Sure.
A little, and what it is and
Sure.
what you do.
Rock the Block is an amazing neighborhood revitalization program. It's all about bringing the community together to have neighbors helping neighbors. So we actually target a specific neighborhood each year in the city of Oshkosh, and we work with Oshkosh Healthy Neighborhoods to identify that established neighborhood association and those leaders in that neighborhood. And we go door to door. We canvass and we talk to as many folks in the neighborhood as we can. We give presentations at town hall meetings to share the word of what we're doing and offer exterior home repair and yard work services at no cost to the homeowner. So we oftentimes find people in neighborhoods that are struggling to get some of those basic needs met, either because they are dealing with medical issues or they're a young family that does not have the time and doesn't have childcare to be able to have someone watch their children while they're out doing yard work and cleaning gutters and maybe pressure washing or fixing broken railings. So there's a lot of different reasons why people apply to the Rock the Block program, but we're happy to help anyone who is in need of that service. And I cannot stress this enough that we do not charge the homeowners for any of these services, and we have a variety of local businesses and organizations that show up to help us do that work. So within a specific neighborhood area, we could have anywhere from 30 to 50 applicants that we work with, and we set up huge project days where we bring hundreds of volunteers together to get this work done. So it's a really fun sort of pep rally in the morning where we get together and we talk about the projects that need to be done that day. We provide shirts and all of the safety gear that folks need to get that work done. For that day, we drop off project kits and all of the supplies that are needed, whether it be lawn edgers, wheelbarrows, brush bags, paint, nails, hammers, anything that is needed for that particular project. We provide that, and we provide some support and supervision throughout the day to make sure that that work gets done.
Let's talk, we talk about organizations using volunteers, but you guys are the volunteers. You have the Habitat Restore, which uses volunteers.
Correct.
You have Habitat Housing.
Correct.
And you have Rock the Block.
Yes.
So you're probably one of the biggest organizations that really utilizes volunteers in so many different ways.
Sure.
Which is amazing. Thank you very, very much. I think that is great. You guys do rock the block.
We do.
And I do understand what you're saying, because as a homeowner too, you look at your house, you see one thing, you fix that, and then there's another thing, and then you keep thinking, how can I afford it? When do I have the time, the expertise? Calling someone to help. So, wow, that is really cool, and that's really exciting.
Yeah, it is a really exciting program. And since we've been in Oshkosh, Habitat's been around since 1989. We've completed construction on 44 homes. We have over 7,500 unduplicated volunteers in our history. So in combination
I like how you said that, unduplicated.
Right. So in coordination with our new construction, with our home buyer program and our Rock the Block program, the volunteer need is ever growing. We also have volunteer opportunities at the Restore too. So we're welcoming anybody who's interested in helping us serve our mission.
Let's go with the Restore first.
Sure.
So what are some of the volunteer opportunities there, or what's the purpose of the Restore?
So the Restore actually resells used building materials or leftover building materials from construction sites, contractors. We oftentimes get overstock items. So sometimes we'll have different department stores that will call and say, we have overstock items, would you like to take them? We also take individual donations from the community. So if anybody is updating their kitchen, we may get a full set of kitchen cabinets or countertops. We can reuse some appliances if they're in working order. Individual donations might just be different furniture pieces as long as they're resellable. So we're happy to take any of those. And our volunteers actually spend a lot of time cleaning the store, just stocking the inventory, checking prices on things, just to make sure that they're comparable to what's out on Marketplace, Craigslist, things like that. Other thrift stores or rummage sale prices. Sometimes the volunteers will help unload vehicles when we have our drop-off area open, and just making sure that all of the operations of the store are flowing and that customers are being serviced and that we have inventory on our shelves.
And one thing, there's a smiling volunteer. One thing that I don't like when my wife goes to your store, because she's there for a long time and she comes back with stuff, and you guys have stuff that you can't find somewhere else because it's from somebody's home or some business, and it's at a really good price. So
sometimes you find things you didn't even know you wanted or needed.
Yes, exactly. And your people there are very, very friendly. And again, that's volunteers being very, very friendly there. And I do know we had an experience with you too when we had to shut down our ladies' home for a while, and you guys came and picked up stuff for us that we wanted to donate. We wanted to go to a good home, so we appreciated that.
Great.
That too. Let's talk about Habitat homes then.
Sure.
So how many, we were talking earlier, how many do you have in the queue for 2024?
So we've completed 44 total since 1989, and we currently have 3 homes under construction, and 2 are scheduled for groundbreaking this year. So we're currently working with 5 partner families that will, in the next year, be in their new Habitat homes.
So let's talk a little about the process, because people have misunderstandings about the process that, and I've heard that too in the community, that we're giving somebody a home.
Right.
We're just giving them a home. What are the guidelines or qualifications for somebody even to apply?
Sure. So we certainly stress that Habitat home buyers are partners in this program, because we are not building the home for them, we are building the home with them, and it's not given to them, it is earned. So the qualifications are extensive, I would say, but we kind of start with 4 upfront categories. If someone is thinking about being a Habitat home buyer, they do need to currently live or work in this community, and have been for at least 6 months prior to application. So we open up an application window each year, usually for about 6 to 8 weeks, and we only take applications during that time. Outside of that time period, we do take down names, contact information, and we generate a contact list. We don't call it a waiting list, but a contact list, so that when we do reopen the next cycle, that they're notified and their questions are answered prior to submitting that application. There is a fee to apply that helps us cover the costs of running credit reports. One of the requirements is that the minimum credit score is 525, which is generous in comparison to local banks and credit unions that administer home loans.
Or even landlords looking for tenants, it's over 600.
Right.
So that's really good.
Right. So it is generous in that regard, but another thing that we look at through credit reporting is debt to income ratio. So we want to make sure that Habitat applicants are able to afford a mortgage, because the houses are not free. We do establish a repayment plan for up to 30 years on their home loan. It's a 0 interest loan, which is a huge, huge benefit of Habitat homeownership, because many people pay for years and years on the interest of their home before they actually start building equity. So we do look at that debt to income ratio, and we ask that any regular monthly recurring debt is no more than 8% of their total income.
Oh, okay.
And then when we set the purchase price of their home, it's never more than 30% of their current income at the time of closing. So that's how we make it affordable. And I know we were talking a little bit before our segment about the cost of the homes, and the cost of building materials has been skyrocketing.
Oh, yes.
It's coming down a little bit, but during the last few years, it kind of went up to astronomical points. And we do not sell the homes for what the actual cost of them to the agency has been. We sell the homes to families at what they can afford. So the purchase price is set at 30% of their income, and it's set for the lifetime of their mortgage. Unlike subsidized rental properties may fluctuate every 6 to 12 months based
Right.
on their income, we lock it in, and then that's what they pay for 30 years. And that's also a huge benefit. Some of the other guidelines that we look at when we're reviewing applications have to do with their willingness to partner with our agency. So they need to be able to complete sweat equity. So we ask all Habitat home buyers individually to complete 250 hours of sweat equity, which could be volunteering on their build site. So actually helping build their home. And it's a lot of time working with our construction crew and volunteers. Other Habitat homebuyers spend a significant amount of time in the Restore, helping volunteer there, and at other community events, giving back to their community that's so supportive of them in this program
So
and
that's
process.
a great way. It's not actually doing the building, but if they want to be a cashier or help out in the store,
Right.
that's a great option.
Right. Some of our homebuyers are not comfortable or not physically able to be on the build site, so we do come up with some creative options for them. We have a current partner family that has spent quite a bit of time in our affiliate office helping out with document scanning, shredding, and just doing a variety of administrative tasks.
Wow, you guys are creative.
Yeah, we want to work with them and give them opportunities to give back to the community that's supportive of them. And if it's a 2-adult household, let's say a married couple or even an unmarried couple, but they're going into this mortgage together, the maximum number of sweat equity hours would be 500, but each adult home buyer would be required to do 250. They also have to be willing to let us share their story and inspire other folks to apply for our program and be a part of this and encourage other people to work with us. And the final piece of the application that we look at is establishing a need for housing. So if someone is a high priority applicant because of insufficient housing, maybe some overcrowding or structural issues based on where they're living now, if we have multiple qualified applicants for a certain number of spots, we do prioritize the applications based on which families need it the most at that time. So we have had applications where the families didn't necessarily qualify or they weren't the highest need family at that time, and then we encourage them to reapply. And we've had a few families in the 5 years that I've been around that have applied multiple times and then eventually were approved for the program.
That's good, and that shows that they stick through something too.
Right.
So is there a certain amount of people that you can take in a family to get a house? Like, is it 2 adults and 3 kids, or what? How do you pick?
That's a great question. We have a variety of options based on lot sizes that we have in our inventory. So we actually purchase lots from the city of Oshkosh.
Okay.
Sometimes we have lots that are donated just from people in the community. And we basically offer a few different options. I shouldn't say a few. We usually offer 2 options to a family, and we take into consideration their family needs. If they have children in the Oshkosh School District, which schools are they going to?
Okay.
Are they okay with switching schools if we're moving from the west side to the
There's
north side or east
a lot
side?
to think about.
There's a lot of different factors
when
that
you're
go
doing this.
into deciding where we're going to build. And sometimes our inventory is limited, and there's a lot of different factors that go into that. But yeah.
So do you have any big families? that are in it?
Yes. So the largest home that we've ever built, we're currently building now, and it's a 6-bedroom home. So,
oh my gosh.
Right. So it's a very large home, and we had to get creative with the floor plan. But obviously, the bigger the home, the smaller the yard, just because the footprint of the house is a little bit larger. But we built to suit the need of the family. So based on some federal housing guidelines, we determine the number of bedrooms and bathrooms that the family needs. We take into consideration the ages and genders of the children to figure out if it makes sense for 2 sisters that are a year apart to share a room. If children are of the same gender but more than 5 years apart, they get separate bedrooms just because they're at different ages and stages in their childhood. So there's a lot of different calculations that go into what we're going to build and who we're going to build with and how.
Wow, I mean, it's amazing as I'm listening to you talk, because normally I would just sit there and think, Habitat for Humanity, we have a family, they need a house, this is what we're going to do, but there's a lot that you have to do with it. I can't even imagine. Wow. And how many families do you usually get to apply?
So when we open up that application period each year, I would say we receive between 20 and 30 applicants. And we actually have a committee that reviews those applications, and we do sort of a pre-screening to make sure that they meet all of the requirements that I mentioned just a few minutes ago. We do a credit report and just check the score and that debt to income ratio before we proceed with anything else. We do some home visits as a committee to meet with the families in person, see what their current living situation is so that we can see firsthand, is this sufficient housing, or is this a family that could benefit from safe, decent, affordable housing that's new, that they don't have to deal with structural damage or mold or water issues or anything that they might be dealing with in a rental property that they might be in.
And I think that that's important of what you're doing, because I mean, my kids graduated college, got married, and bought their first home, and they didn't realize this can go out, this can go out, this can go wrong. And so to make sure that it sounds nice, let's own a home, but all the responsibilities that come with it is just a lot. Right.
And another option that families have for sweat equity is, I shouldn't say option, one of the requirements that families have is to participate in an online homebuyer education that reviews a lot of those different budgeting issues and financial considerations that some people who might be renting don't consider until they're actually in a position of home ownership. So we try to coach people through those situations and provide some ongoing support even after they've received the keys to their house.
You know, and that's very similar to us at COTS, because we have all of our guys are working, they all have jobs, they're all saving money to get an apartment. And they don't realize all the stuff that's involved with the apartment besides the rent, the security deposit, then you have the electric bill, all this other stuff. So we do the very similar, the same way. If we try to educate and show them this is what's involved, and then you have to furnish the apartment and all this other stuff. So let's talk about furnishing the homes.
Okay.
Are you guys involved with that, or?
We are not. So a lot of times we talk with folks about what are they going to do as far as furniture when they move in. If they have furniture in their current apartment, it might not work or fit in the house that they're building with us. And the homes that we build are not extravagant or large by any means. So depending on where they're currently renting, they may need to get new furniture and get rid of the old stuff. So we've talked with people about selling things either through like Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, or donating it to the Restore. We oftentimes will gift cards or vouchers or things like that to get some of the things that they need. But if anybody out there watching is interested in helping a family with different furnishings, that's definitely something that we would entertain and welcome a discussion about. And we also don't want people to go out and buy all brand new things right away and then and get themselves into debt.
So then we've talked about all the volunteers. Who should they call if somebody's interested in either Habitat for Humanity or the Restore? Who should they call about getting more information on volunteering?
So they can contact me. All of the
That number is?
Yes.
Okay.
All of the volunteers that are currently registered with our agency have been utilizing a software platform that we invested in a few years ago. So we've tried to streamline the volunteer registration process through this website. So on our habitatoshkosh.org website, if they click on volunteer, there's a link to take action, and it will provide all of the current volunteer opportunities that we have, whether it be on a build site, restore, or upcoming Rock the Block opportunities. So we are building year round, and there are always opportunities, and our current schedule is always about a month out on the website if people are interested in signing up for a build day.
Very easy to read website.
Ongoing opportunities at the Restore, and we will be posting Rock the Block opportunities to volunteer in Oshkosh for the month of May and in Omro for the month of July.
So is part of the training modules on there too?
Yes. Yep. So there's a link.
You guys are progressive.
There's a link on the registration platform to review some safety considerations when it comes to signing up to build with us on our build sites. I see that he's trying to find the, the volunteer link. So lots of different options. If anyone needs assistance registering online, I'd be more than happy to sit down with folks or talk on the phone if you call with any questions. But I've found that a lot of people who are directed to our site find it very user-friendly. And just after a few clicks and getting registered as a regular volunteer with us, you'll get updates on all new opportunities that are added if you become a fan of different programs on the site. If you're looking specifically to volunteer on build sites, you can become a fan of Habitat Construction. If you're looking for specific opportunities for the Restore or Rock the Block, you can become a fan of those programs. And then each time we post an opportunity, you'll get an email saying, Habitat is looking for volunteers on this day for this project, and if you're interested, click here.
So time is winding down, but I wanted to ask you about family volunteering.
Okay.
Is there such, because you're dealing with equipment and all of that stuff, can families volunteer?
So we are limited on our build sites because we're using power tools and ladders, and there are some safety concerns. So we do ask that our build volunteers are over the age of 18.
Okay.
However, sometimes we have opportunities that are only painting the interior of the house. So we are asking that if someone under the age of 18 but over the age of 16 wants to paint with us, that they come with an adult, and we can accommodate for some of those requests. In the Restore, however, if anyone over the age of 11 would like to volunteer, they can come with a parent, and over the age of 14 can volunteer with us without a parent.
Very, very cool, because family volunteering is such a hip thing now to do because of the limited time that you have. That's really cool. There is so much more to talk about, but our time is winding down for this edition of The Place to Be Oshkosh. Thank you, Elizabeth, very much for being on here and enlightening us. You guys do rock the block. you rock the community with everything that you do, so we really do appreciate that. And support by volunteering or support by donating to Habitat. Thank you very much for joining us for this March edition of The Place to Be Oshkosh. I have a treat for my peep here. So
thank you so much.
Happy spring, happy St. Patty's Day, happy Easter. We really appreciate what you guys do in the community. Thank you guys very much too. We're glad that you could be with us for our March edition of The Place to Be Oshkosh.